Yeah, APJ Abdul Kalam's ignited mind also,
Yes.
which has given him lots of insight. Okay, it has not come from any top level, it has come from the basic questions, like from the children's. Like one of the children, I think, in his, like he went to one of the school, the seminar where he attended. Then there was a question which came like, why Brahmaputra's rivers can't be diverted in the
Hmm. Hmm.
droughting states
Hmm.
of
Hmm.
India.
Hmm. Hmm.
So Indira Gandhi Canal was also like another
Hmm. Hmm.
plan
Hmm.
which was there in Rajasthan,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
So I think these particular questions which are coming from the basic children, like
Hmm.
from class 1 to 5th, because they are listening to their parents,
Yeah. Hmm.
teachers in the school, the similar events are happening. So I think like we should learn from them.
Yeah, absolutely. See, that's a problem. One of the problems with our education system that we have uh, curbed the entire curiosity of the children. We don't get them to ask questions. In fact, whenever they ask questions, they say, "No, you just accept it. This is how it
Yes,
is."
yes, yes.
Okay,
Rose is
and
red.
yes, that's it. Beyond that, don't get anywhere. Just put on the blinkers, look at this, read this answer, and exactly reproduce. Entire original thinking, creative thinking, that is stifled. And if murdered is not a strong word, I would like to use that word, that it is murdered in schools. So our task is to find ways of doing away with that and somehow igniting that curiosity and sense of wonder in the children, and then they themselves will find answers. You
Correct.
just need to ignite that bug of curiosity in the children.
Okay. So thank you, sir, for giving us lots of insights. I think I also didn't have this much, and this will help the parents also to help their children think from different ways, the different angles, so that they get lots of clarity in the initial stage. Okay, so we will go for next question. The question is all about your thoughts. How your thoughts are incorporating in your education system for the spirituality, culture, meditation, and yoga. Can you just elaborate
Yeah.
about it?
Yeah, like I said, the biggest gift that I believe our land and culture has to offer to the world is knowledge about self and mastery about self. Now, which is where Vipassana helped me.
Okay.
And to contrast myself with what I was earlier and what I am now, it's a sea change. I would say I was a good student at school, or I was always topping, and which is every recipe that I had very little knowledge of my own. It was all knowledge which was given in the books, and you believe that this is right and nothing else. So it was to an extent where I thought even yoga was humbug. I said, "What is this? Do Kapalbhati? How will it help you? If I do bend my body this way, that way, how will
Hmm.
it help me?" But then I had some back pain problem. I started doing yoga, and God, I was like, okay, there is something to it.
It
It's
and
not all humbug.
yeah, it just give
Yeah,
an electric charge to your entire
yeah,
body to fix
yeah,
the all the
yeah, yeah,
system.
yeah. So, which is where, I said, no, there is perhaps something more to it. And then I got into Vipassana, and which is where it opened up an entirely new world of knowledge, of understanding self. Simple instances, if I lose my anger, everybody knows and understands, that okay, losing anger is not good. Or rather, if we look at it the other way, we say everything that any individual has to learn in his life, most of it is taught in the primary classes itself.
Hmm.
That you don't lose anger, don't steal, don't kill. All the moral lessons are given there only. But how easy it is to implement them. Everybody at an intellectual level will understand that I shouldn't lose my anger. When I have exams, I should study. I shouldn't waste my time on Insta, Facebook, or playing some games. But how do you control your mind? What is to be done is told. How it is to be done, nobody tells.
Correct.
That how part came from Vipassana.
Hmm.
And which is where it comes into why am I becoming angry? I first have to get to the source of it. If I have an exam now, I fully understand intellectually that I have to study. बट स्टिल आई डोंट, वो मूड नहीं है. क्यों मूड नहीं है किसी को समझ में नहीं आता है. So once you start this journey of diving into your own persona, diving into your own mind, which is where this new world of wisdom starts opening up. which is what Vipassana did with me, and which is where I realized that I had perhaps wasted a lot of years of my life staying away from the wealth of knowledge that our land had to give. And over a period of many years that I've been practicing, I've seen my personal journey of growth. And if you ask me, I would say that Vipassana or any other meditation technique of
Mhm.
this sort, I realized the value of meditation there, value of self introspection, and done the methodical way in which the spiritual masters of this land have taught. So, any other form of meditation, how it is important, why it is important. And that has to be the core of any education system. Unfortunately, the entire education system of our country was waylaid, was destroyed, and a warped form of it went to West and it's coming back.
Yes.
And we've left the entire wealth of wisdom that we have to ruins. So the school that we have started is an effort to bring that back into center stage. Now,
Okay.
we have our limitations in terms of what we can do with the curriculum. So, because whichever board we take, CBSE or any international curriculum, they would give us a set of lessons and subjects which are to be taught. But our entire effort is to see how we can work within those boundaries to bring these aspects in.
Got
So, to say a simple instance, how do we make meditation? How do we bring meditation in school? So, we've done a workshop for our entire staff, drivers, teachers, IMRs, and all our students, introducing them to the basic technique of Anapana Sati. It's a
it.
form of meditation. And now every day, 5 minutes in class, grade 5 upwards, they do meditation in the school. It's just the beginning, but over a period of time, if some of the students can actually start practicing it, and that practice we are trying to inculcate in the school, then they for themselves will realize the kind of web of complexes, ideas, ideologies that we create for ourselves, and which prevents us from achieving our full potential. So you asked me how come you are into
Mhm.
so many activities, so
Correct.
business to corporate job to poetry to activism to writing columns for web. To give one more interesting thing, I'm also doing my law. I'm into my final year LLB course as well.
Very nice.
Managing the school and managing my industries. How does it all come? It all comes from meditation and vipassana, which gives you a good understanding of yourself.
Okay.
So through that, that's how we are trying to incorporate it into the school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So as we discuss, I saw your interest in the music as
Yeah,
well.
yeah.
So how Indic International School you are associating with Shankar
Mahadevan
Mahadevan
Music
Music
Academy. Yeah.
Academy?
So, like I said, the reason for starting this school was to try and make difference in whatever way you can. So, some of the things which we thought are necessary to do is one, make meditation compulsory, about which I've already spoken. Two, make Sanskrit compulsory, which also we have done in our school from LKG till grade 8. Sanskrit is compulsory. I'll get into that perhaps a little
Mhm.
later. Coming to your main point, music, we wanted music also to be compulsory for all. Now, there's a lot of reasons, research, and logic behind it. In simple ways, one or two quick things I would say. One, it gives a good outlet for human emotions
Yeah.
to students. It helps a lot of students
Motivating songs.
give them a new hobby,
Yeah.
and it opens up an entire different dimension for people. Perhaps some will be interested, some might not be interested, but to get everybody to go through that, it does ignite certain centers in the mind. So,
Mhm.
for instance, some might not be interested in math, some might not be interested in socials, but they still sit through it. So, you
Correct.
sit through it. Who enjoy, you enjoy. And over a period of time, whatever subconsciously is happening in the mind, that hopefully will manifest in the world somewhere. One of the researchers tells us that music is all about rhythm, pattern, sur,
Mhm.
tal. Now, once you get attuned to a specific pattern, the subconscious ability of the mind to recognize patterns across nature, across the world, is enhanced. and it also helps mathematics. The mathematics is again about deciphering various patterns and solving
Hmm.
equations. So, which is where we thought, for various things, music should be compulsory, and we wanted to provide whoever the best faculty for that. So when we were scouting for this, I discovered that Shankar Mahadevan Academy has already devised a beautiful music curriculum to be taught to school children. So we spoke to them, got to know about their curriculum, we liked what they were doing, and that's how we roped them in. So Shankar Mahadevan Academy, they've sent their teacher to our school. The curriculum, everything is designed by them, and it's delivered in our school. So that's how we have a relationship with Shankar Mahadevan Academy.
Very nice, sir. So, like ancient knowledge, like I saw, like in the first and the initial first question only, you have addressed to that. Ancient knowledge is also very important for us because it also drives us towards the generations are moving forward, and the ancient knowledge also you are embedding in your curriculum.
Hmm.
And how do you think it will be a very much how do you think it's important for the students to take care forward, to take it forward?
See, it again goes down to how we define education. Interestingly, if you try and Google for how do you define education, you will not find one common definition for
Yeah.
it. The most widely accepted one is one by UNESCO, with which I personally have a lot of issue with. I don't think it defines it properly. So, the way we look at education, it is essentially first we should know who we are.
Okay.
Then we should know what our culture, our surroundings, our
Yes.
society is. Then thirdly, we should know about different how our nature and environment is.
How they are
Yes.
keep on changing,
Changing.
evolving.
Yes. And fourthly, more importantly, what is your role in this?
Got it.
How are you to deal with yourself, your society, and the nature and environment around it? What are you to make out of it? How are you to make a living out of it? And where do you want to head? You need to have some goal in life. Being able to lay a foundation for this, if you ask me in very generic terms,
Hmm.
is what education is. So, without knowing yourself,
Hmm.
how do you change your society? If you want to change, firstly, why should you change the society? Or how do you live in it? So, first step is knowing yourself,
Hmm.
and which is where a lot of this ancient knowledge comes in handy.
Yeah.
And then I've discussed that with anyway with meditation, but the other critical aspect is society, your various customs, your various rituals. What is the science behind it? Is there any science, or is it a blind superstition? We need to ask all these questions and look at our society from our perspective.
Got it.
There is a certain design and thought behind it. Now, we might not be aware of it, and we might just name it as a superstition. And that is what I used to do earlier. That
Hmm.
whatever is not there in my book, it is wrong. If I don't understand it, that means the world also doesn't understand it.
Correct.
There could be some rational or logic behind it, which I am not aware of. If I am not aware of, that means it is wrong.
Hmm.
So that's a conception that we need to do away with. For instance, the entire science behind a temple, the science behind the rituals and customs. It is very fashionable for students to say this is all stupidity, that is all blind faith. But there is a scientific reason. You might not be aware of it. Take some pains to find out. And
Correct.
even if you can't appreciate it, at least be in a position to say that, yes, it might be done. I am not aware of it. I will find out. But what gives any person the authority to say that it is a superstition? If you've done research and you found it is a superstition, then fine. But without knowing anything about it, how do you call anything as a superstition or blind faith? Interesting aspect is, many of these concepts of blind faith and all, they are actually alien to our culture. Let me try and take you in
Yeah.
terms of again what you said, it's related to the ancient knowledge. One field of education and one field of knowledge is what the Westerners called epistemology. That is, how do you actually acquire knowledge? Now, if you this not with the same name, but it is dealt with in our ancient wisdom in Nyaya Sutras.
Nyaya Sutras.
So, how do you acquire knowledge, or what is correct knowledge, right? So, there are various ways, means of it. For the sake of ease, I would classify them into three. One is what is heard or what is
Okay.
read. I have read in my book, it is true. My father has told me, it is true. My teacher has told me, it is true.
It is true.
So, Shabda Pramana, whatever you hear, whatever you read, you believe. And that is the truth. Second is Tarka Pramana. He is such a knowledgeable professor. He has so much knowledge. He has so much of authority. Look at this reasoning. I have looked at his logic. So you argue, reason, and then you come to a conclusion and then you accept it, it is true. So first is Shabda Pramana, whatever is read or told, you believe it. Second is Tarka Pramana, you reason, you use, we call it an age of reason. So Western world, if you see it, it is still at an age of reason. But there is a third level beyond this too, which is what we call as Pratyaksha Pramana, or in Vipassana, which is called Bhavanamayi Pragya,
Bhavna.
where you actually experience what the truth is. You need evidence, you need science to accept something which is truth. Now, and this is what our Nyaya Sutras tell us, that the highest form of acquiring knowledge is through personal experience.
Yep.
So while a rishi might say Bhagwan is there, Ishwar is there, but you should not believe it is what the rishi only tells. Till you have experienced God, till you've seen God yourself, बोलते हैं ना दर्शन हो गए भगवान के, जब तक आपने दर्शन नहीं किए तब तक आप उसको मानेंगे नहीं. मंदिर में भगवान की मूर्ति के दर्शन करना अलग है, वहां आप तर्क यूज कर लो,
बट वो स्पिरिचुअली कनेक्ट करना,
हाँ वो है, वो इम्पोर्टेंट है, बट तो भगवान को देखना नहीं है. आप भगवान के रूप का एक इमेजिनेशन बना के आप देख रहे हैं, उसका अपना महत्व है, बट वो भगवान को देखना नहीं है. तो ऋषि यही कहते हैं कि जब तक आपने उसको देखा नहीं, जब तक आपने उसको अनुभव नहीं किया, उसकी अनुभूति नहीं हुई, तब तक आप उसको नहीं मानेंगे. तो यहाँ हमारे सिस्टम में कहां ब्लाइंड फेथ है. नाउ यू कॉन्ट्रास्ट दिस विद द वेस्टर्न सिविलाइजेशन. यू गिवन अ बुक, this is your holy book, all due respects to the book, but whatever is written you have to accept.
you have to.
Now what is that? If you evaluate it in these three frameworks that I have given you, the knowledge epistemology framework of Nyaya Sutra, this is Shabda Pramana. God created world. How do you know? No, you can't question it. In fact, in some of the cultures it would be blasphemy to question it. सर तन से जुदा भी हो सकता है. But our system, we say, no, you should not accept it. I am telling you this is truth, but you should not accept it. I am telling you this water, this is sweet. I can give you a lab report, but you should not accept it. How do you know that this water is sweet? You should taste it.
Correct. Agree with
Once you have tasted it, if you found this is coconut water or this water is sweet, then it becomes your realized experience, Pratyaksha Pramana. And till you have tasted this water, you should not accept that this water is sweet. This is Indian knowledge. This is ancient wisdom. So this is a framework that we are trying to bring into the school.
it into this.
Yes, we are teaching you. This book is there, but you got to do further research.
Correct.
Whatever is possible to bring on the level of Pratyaksha Pramana, and which is nothing but method of science, that any data should be verifiable, repeatable, testable. It's all test of science. So that is something that we're trying to bring into this. Who all were the toppers of your school? Where are they today? And who were all failing? Who were the backbenchers? Who were not doing well? Who were doing a lot of musty? Where are they today? See, values, ethics and moral principles, if you ask me frankly, they become fashion statements to be bandied about by every school.